The Golden Apple. In the peaceful village of Willowbrook, nestled at the edge of an enchanted forest, there stood a magical tree at the center of the town square. Its branches stretched high into the sky, its leaves shimmering with a golden glow. Every year, this ancient tree bore one single golden apple, said to possess immense power. The villagers spoke of its magic in hushed tones, for whoever was chosen to pick the apple would be granted great fortune. The wise elder of Willowbrook, Granny Mira, who had lived through many seasons, always reminded the villagers, "The apple must be shared, for greed will bring misfortune." Her words were sacred in the village, passed down through generations, for it was believed that the apple's power could only be truly harnessed if its blessings were spread among all. One year, as autumn painted the village in shades of orange and gold, the golden apple began to ripen on the magical tree. The entire village gathered around, eagerly awaiting the moment when the apple would fall. The air was thick with excitement, but Henry, a boy of about 12, had other plans. Henry was ambitious, curious, and above all, he dreamed of a life of wealth and comfort. Why should he share this gift when he could have it all, he thought. If I take the apple, I can make my family rich. I'll have everything I've ever wanted. He was certain that the fortune the apple would bring could be his alone. That night, under the cover of darkness, Henry crept out of his home. The moon cast a soft glow over the village, and the square was eerily quiet. No one was awake to witness what was about to happen. As he neared the tree, his heart raced with excitement. With trembling hands, he reached up and plucked the golden apple from its branch. The moment he touched it, a surge of warmth spread through his body. But then something strange occurred. The once vibrant village of Willowbrook began to change. The trees in the square, which had been full of life and color, began to wilt. The river, which had always flowed with crystal clear water, stopped in its tracks. The crops in the fields dried up, their leaves turning brittle and brown. The cheerful songs of birds that had once filled the air fell silent. Henry stared in horror as the magic he had taken for himself turned the village into a bleak and desolate place. The sky, once bright and blue, turned a dull gray. The joy and vibrancy that had always defined Willowbrook were now gone, replaced by an oppressive silence. The villagers awoke to find their home in ruin. The river had dried up. The crops were failing. Their laughter had vanished, and the air was thick with worry. Granny Mira, sensing something was wrong, hurried to the square. She looked at the withered tree and then turned her gaze to Henry, who was standing there with the golden apple clutched tightly in his hands. "Henry," she said softly, her voice full of sorrow, "the apple was never meant for one person. It was a gift to be shared, not hoarded. Your greed has taken away the blessings of this village." Henry's heart sank as the truth of Granny Mira's words sank in. He had never intended to hurt anyone. He only wanted good fortune for himself, thinking that if he had everything he wanted, the village would be better off. But now he could see how his selfishness had caused harm. With a heavy heart, Henry walked slowly to the center of the square where the tree stood, its branches now brittle and lifeless. He placed the golden apple beneath its gnarled roots and stepped back, hoping that the magic would undo the damage he had caused. As soon as the apple touched the ground, a soft, golden light began to glow, surrounding the tree and spreading outward. The color slowly returned to the village, the vibrant green of the trees, the sparkling blue of the river, and the bright fields of crops. Birds began to sing once more, and the villagers felt the warmth of the sun on their skin. The air was filled with a sense of peace and prosperity. The magic had been restored, but it was different this time. Henry realized that the fortune he had been seeking was never meant to be kept for himself. True wealth came not from taking, but from giving. He had learned that sharing, helping others, and showing kindness were the true treasures of life. From that day on, Henry worked hard to help his family, his friends, and his neighbors. He shared his food, his time, and his talents, knowing that the more he gave, the more he would receive in return, not in material wealth, but in happiness, friendship, and love. And when the next golden apple grew, Henry was the first to offer it to the village, knowing that the true magic of the apple lay in its ability to bring people together, to unite them in generosity and kindness. The villagers celebrated together, and Willowbrook flourished once again. The lesson was clear to everyone. Greed brings darkness, but generosity brings light. From that day forward, Granny Mira's wisdom echoed through the village. True wealth is not in what we keep for ourselves, but in what we share with others. And so, Willowbrook remained a place of happiness, harmony, and community, where the magic of the golden apple was not just in the blessings it granted, but in the love and generosity it inspired. The moral of the story is, true wealth is not in what we keep for ourselves, but in what we share with others.